y'all. They let Big Grape out. Big Grape home. Ain't no more free grape. Big Grape free. Yeah, yeah. We put this shit on for you, Big Grape. Talk your shit, Grape. Talk your shit. Shut up. Now it's time for me to talk my shit. Where them hoes was at, babe? Where they was at? Where they was at?
He took my little sister for nothing, man. She ain't do nothing to nobody. Please speak up for my sister, y'all. Please. It's hurting me. It's hurting my dad. It's hurting her mom.
This is Jeremy Caples, a 30-year-old mother of two who would be found dead after picking husband from prison. In the late hours of November 11, 2021, Memphis police were summoned to a quiet driveway on Print Avenue, a call that would lead them to a scene no one was prepared for. There, slumped in the driver's seat of her white Jeep Cherokee, was 30-year-old Jeremy Caples, lifeless, less than 2 miles from her home. She had been shot once in the head at close range, and there were no signs of a struggle, just a woman left to die alone in her car. Just days earlier, her husband, DBO Grape, had been released from prison, a reunion that should have marked the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter filled with love, second chances, and the promise of a fresh start after years of separation. But that hope would quickly be shattered in a way no one could have predicted. There were no signs of forced entry into the vehicle, no indication of an altercation. It was as if the killer had simply appeared, executed their grim task, and vanished without leaving a trace. As detectives dug deeper into the case, a chilling truth began to surface, one that would change everything they thought they knew. What really happened to Jeremy Caples? But before that, let me begin by introducing you to the victim, Jeremy Caples. She was only 26, yet she carried the weight of someone much older.
She know when we slide, we be saying not to sit no lie. She know that I got that shit she want to.
Me, you a crack dog, nigga. You heard of the last comment. That like possession, I ain't even had a scrap for me. I didn't know it, walking in with straight facts from me. I don't wanna shit with this mess.
A bright smile, a caring heart, and an infectious laugh. Her family would later describe her as a woman who loved children, and anyone who knew her would say she always put others first. Jeremy had no children of her own, but that didn't stop her from being a mother figure.
Look, I just flipped the switch. Flip. I don't know nobody else that's doing this.
She stepped up to raise her 2 nephews as her own. She was the kind of person who didn't think twice when it came to family, although they weren't hers, but you'd never know it by the way she cared for them. Her deep love for children was undeniable, and those closest to her say she had a nurturing spirit that came naturally. In many ways, Jeremy became their safe place, the one who provided structure, warmth, and unwavering support when they needed it most. Her social media profile painted a picture of a young woman with ambition and drive, a proud alumna of Hamilton High School and a student at the University of Memphis. She was determined to build a better life, but not only for herself, for those she cared about. Those close to her remember her as someone who worked tirelessly to create stability, often balancing multiple responsibilities without ever complaining. Though not wealthy by any means, she was resourceful, always ensuring her home was a warm, welcoming place, a sanctuary of comfort and safety for her loved ones. But her online presence revealed something deeper, an emotional, complex side that few got to see in person. Her Facebook posts were raw and candid, filled with reflections on love, patience, and relationships that brought both joy and heartache. Yet amidst the snapshots of everyday life and humor, there was one post that stood out. A heartfelt birthday tribute from earlier that year would become a haunting reminder of a life taken far too soon. The man she was talking about was a 28-year-old Ronaldo Wright, also known as DBO Grape, or Grape, as he was popularly called. Grape had a criminal record and a past that followed him, one that made it hard to stay on a straight path. He had been in prison for 4 years, but Jeremy stood right by his side. She never stopped loving him. Through letters, calls, and visits, she kept their relationship alive. And when Grape was released in 2021, Jeremy was there to greet him with open arms.
Damn! What? That's Grape near my feet. Oh. It gotta be gone, go live. I am. That's them. It's your lips. Get out my way! Where Grape flag? Where Grape flag at, bro? Alright, Big Grape! Yeah! Big Grape! Yeah! Big Grape!
Thrilled to be reunited after so much time apart.
Big Grape home! Ain't no more free Grape! Big Grape free! Yeah! We put this on for you, Big Grape! Talk your shit, Grape! Talk your shit! Shut up! Big Grape!
Free who?
Yeah.
Big bull out!
Ain't no more free my dude, fuck!
Now here's the thing though, despite the challenges of waiting for Ronaldo while he was incarcerated, Jeremy was resilient.
Jerry at home, ain't no more free him.
Hit the lights. What's going on in here?
The lights.
I opened the blinds so.
And he is happy.
Our balloon stayed in place. Thank the man above, Jesus.
She didn't hide their relationship. She made it clear on her social media that no matter the circumstances, she loved him, and when he got out, they would rebuild their lives together. Her Facebook posts celebrated the best 4 months of her life since Grape hit the streets, as she put it, in one emotional post dedicated to him. This wasn't just a woman who waited for a man. This was someone who believed in second chances. In her eyes, love and loyalty mattered more than anything. But wait, here's what's insane about this. Days after Grape's release, Jeremy would be found dead, shot in the head, her body slumped in the back of her car in the Nutbush neighborhood. What happened between their reunion and her tragic death? Was it connected to Grape's release, or was something else going on? So, let's break it down. November 11th, 2021 started as just another typical morning for the Caples family. Jeremy, ever the devoted aunt, got her nephews ready for school, ensuring their clothes were neat and their backpacks packed as she always did. It was a routine she never minded, a quiet part of her day that set the tone for the hours to come. Before leaving, she called her sister Candace, just as she did every morning, sharing plans and catching up on the little things. But what seemed like a simple errand would become her last. She mentioned to Candace that she wanted to buy new shoes. Nothing flashy, just something to keep her looking put together. It was a casual conversation, a mundane task. Little did they know, it would be the last time they spoke. As the hours passed, Candace tried calling Jeremy repeatedly, but her calls went unanswered. At first, Candace chalked it up to a minor inconvenience. Maybe the battery had died, or Jeremy had gotten wrapped up in her day. But as the afternoon dragged on and the phone calls continued to ring out, a knot began to form in Candace's stomach. This wasn't like Jeremy, especially not when the kids were depending on her. By evening, her growing worry shifted into fear. Something wasn't right, and she could feel it deep in her bones. Without a second thought, Candace jumped in her car and made the 15-minute drive to Jeremy's house, but when she turned onto the familiar street, she would have a sinking feeling. She saw the flashing lights, the police cars, and the growing crowd of onlookers. Candace's worst fears were confirmed when officers informed her of the grim reality. Around 6 p.m., Memphis police responded to a shooting on Print Avenue. When they arrived at the scene, they found 25-year-old Jeremy Caples slumped over the steering wheel of her white Jeep Cherokee, a gunshot wound to her head. First responders were quick to arrive, but tragically, Jeremy had already succumbed to her injuries.
A loving mother, sister, and daughter now at the center of a murder investigation. Memphis police found the 25-year-old killed in the Nutbush neighborhood. The woman's family continues to mourn while police search for her killer in tonight's Manhunt Monday.
Jeremy's murder was brutal. She was shot in the head at close range, which meant the killer was within arm's reach. The crime scene was disturbing, but it would take a few more twists to reveal what really happened. The police immediately began their investigation, but here's where things start to get really crazy. A doorbell camera caught crucial footage of someone leaving Jerity's car, walking away casually, like they had done nothing wrong. No rush, no panic. It's like they knew exactly what they had just done. This wasn't a random shooting. The killer was calm, composed, and appeared to know the area well. So who was it? Was it someone Jeremy knew? The investigation kicked into high gear, but despite the surveillance footage, the killer's face remained obscured. The footage gave police a glimpse of the suspect's clothing, build, and even their gait. This wasn't just someone passing through the area. It was someone familiar with the neighborhood, someone comfortable enough to just walk away like nothing happened. But wait, it gets even weirder. Memphis police, already dealing with an uptick in crime, needed more than just footage. They needed answers. And that's where digital forensics came into play. Jeremy's phone became a critical piece of evidence. Investigators pulled her phone records, examining the last texts, calls, and even social media activity she had before her death. What they found raised even more questions. In the days leading up to her murder, there were no signs of threats, no arguments, and nothing that would have suggested she was in danger. But then there was that chilling post from earlier in the year she had written. Was she trying to tell us something? Was she trying to warn someone? What was really going on behind the scenes that led to her death? Now, here's where things get even more mind-boggling. What if the key to solving this case was in Jeremy's relationship with Grape? Could there be a deeper, more twisted motive that connects the dots? Let's take a closer look at the man at the center of her life and ultimately her death. Let's talk about Ronaldo Wright, aka DBO Grape. This guy wasn't a stranger to the system. His criminal record stretched back for years before his latest stint in prison, though the details of his convictions remain a bit hazy. He's familiar with courtrooms, lawyers, and prison bars. His life was far from ordinary. But the interesting part, despite his past, Jeremy stayed by his side. She stuck with him through those long years of incarceration, keeping their relationship alive.
She didn't just wait for him in silence. No, she celebrated him when he returned. The man who had spent 4 years behind bars was back, and Jeremy was there to pick up the pieces of their life. But here's what's insane. Their reunion, which should have been a fresh start, turned into the final chapter of Jeremy's life. Days after Grape's release, Jeremy was dead, shot in the head in the back of her own car. Now let's talk about the timing. Was it a coincidence that Grape's release was so closely tied to Jeremy's death? As the investigation unfolded, there were more strange twists. Following the harrowing discovery of Jeremy's body, Memphis police quickly began canvassing the Nutbush neighborhood for leads. In a city struggling with rising crime rates, getting people to speak up can be difficult. Despite the fact that Jeremy was well-loved and respected in her neighborhood, no one, absolutely no one, came forward with any useful information. No one heard the gunshot, no one saw the killer, and worst of all, no one knew anything about who was responsible. This is the frustrating part. How does someone commit such a brutal murder and walk away so casually, especially in a densely populated neighborhood like Nutbush? The silence from the public left investigators with more questions than answers. How do you solve a murder when no one seems to want to talk? For Jeremy's family, the silence was the hardest part.
Please speak up for my sister, y'all. Please. It's hurting me. It's hurting my dad. It's hurting her mom.
Her father, Jerry Capples, was especially impacted.
The murder was picked up by a door cam, leaving the vehicle, so which kind of led me to believe that the person might stay somewhere in the area.
So he searches the area frequently, looking for any clues he can find, a tragedy no one can wrap their head around.
Every day he walked the streets of Nutbush, hoping to catch a glimpse of the person who might have had something to do with his daughter's death. He studied faces. He eavesdropped on conversations, but to no avail. No one seemed willing to come forward. Her father, Jerry Kapples, has never wavered in his pursuit of justice. His determination remains steadfast. He's attended community events, spoken to local media, and begged the public for any information that could bring closure. However, there was one detail that could break the case wide open. The alleged shooter was carrying a bold accessory, a brown MCM designer backpack. Not the type of item you'd expect a killer to casually carry, yet not something that would easily go unnoticed, especially in a community like Nutbush, where people recognize each other and remember the smallest details. This backpack, Jerry believes, could be the key to unlocking the truth, and he refuses to let go of that hope. For Jerry, that blurry footage isn't just another piece of evidence. It's a constant reminder that the person who murdered his daughter is still out there, unaccountable for their actions. Yet even as the years pass, Jeremy's family refuses to give up. They're holding on to hope, leaning into persistence, and keeping faith that someone out there remembers that bag, or the person who always wore it.
And tonight, a family searching for answers 2 years after the homicide of Jeremy Caples. Our Zaria Oates sat down with the family about their search for the suspect and the grief they manage every day.
He took my little sister for nothing, man. She ain't do nothing to nobody. I never think I'd put my sister in a casket, man. We just want justice for her. This.
But hope alone is never enough. 3 years after Jeremy's death, her family still had no closure. They had seen the surveillance footage. They had the phone records. They had the clues, yet they were no closer to solving the crime. Each new day brought the sting of uncertainty and the grief of not knowing who was responsible for taking away a mother, daughter, and friend. As weeks turned into months and months into years, the silence surrounding Jeremy Kapples' case grew heavier. The hope for answers slowly dimmed, with each passing birthday, holiday, and anniversary serving as a painful reminder of what had been stolen from her family and how justice still seemed out of reach. In an effort to turn grief into action, Jeremy's family organized a public remembrance, a call to action, not just a quiet reflection. This wasn't simply a memorial. It was a bold plea for answers. Held near the spot where Jeremy's life was stolen, the event brought together family, community members, and local activists. Their unified message: someone knows something. As memories were shared, candles lit, and balloons released, the focus remained clear. This was a public appeal for anyone with information to step forward. It was a desperate push to get someone to speak up. Still, despite all the efforts and increased rewards, no arrests have been made. So, Jeremy's family waits. Her father continues to search, her sister continues to grieve, and the children she raised grow up without the love and guidance she so desperately wanted to give them. The haunting image of that masked figure walking away from her car lingers in the minds of everyone who loved her. The pain hasn't softened with time. The wound remains open, unanswered, because justice has yet to arrive. Jeremy Kapples wasn't just a statistic, a face on a news report. She was a daughter, a sister, a mother figure, and a bright light in her community. She deserved protection. She deserved answers. She deserved more time. The only hope left is that someone, somewhere, will find the courage to speak up, that the silence will finally break, that the truth will come to light, and that one day soon, the Kapples family will get the justice they've been waiting for all along. Justice for Jeremy. What do you think about it? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this story intriguing, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.